Welcome to Truck and Travel. I'm Derek.
I'm Cinnamon.
Today's video is sponsored by Hyfield. If you're interested in doing what we do and driving one of these trucks for a living, reach out to Hyfield Trucking at the link and phone number in the video description. Let them know Truck and Travel sent you. Come on. You're going to see the results in this video, and I really got to stress, if you guys want to be more successful than us, less stressed, and just have somebody there in your ear, you know, helping you out along the ways, we highly recommend going with Hyfield because they provide a mentorship. You can be more successful and less stressed if you do that. If you want to do this, you love trucking, I highly recommend Hyfield Trucking. All right, guys. We start out on Monday. We pick up in West Haven, Connecticut, and it is going all the way over to the west and Prairie, Wisconsin, and it drops the next day on Tuesday. All right, Cinnamon, go ahead and tell us about this load. How much weight, how many pieces, pallets, whatever. Was it a temperature load?
So it is 6 pallets that we're moving, and so all 6 of those pallets combined weight is 2,215 pounds.
Which is more than what we average.
Yeah.
That's quite
funny.
a bit for
Yeah.
us. To somebody else, they're like, what? That's it? This truck can hold a lot more than that. Why is that it? Couldn't you fit more in there? Yes, we could.
These are dedicated loads, or like a...
They're not dedicated. They're
what's the word I'm thinking of?
This is a niche. They have the rights to the entire truck. We won't pick up from any other places. It's dedicated to the customer. Can't remember what the phrase is that we use.
Yeah.
Maybe someday we'll remember, but not today.
We're drawing a blank right now.
Yes,
it's hot.
it's that camera.
So it actually is not a temperature load. There's no requirement on this as far as temperature. So It's a dry, what they call a surface load.
Yep. So this run is 924 miles. That's the run miles. But if you add in the deadhead, it's 1,063 miles. So not really a big deadhead. All right, Cinnamon, go ahead and tell the fine folks on their cell phone or watching TV or on their computer, but I bet it's on their phone, what the pay per miles are for these.
So if we're just looking at the run miles, then the pay per mile is going to be $3.07.
Yep.
If you add in the deadhead to it, then it brings it down to $2.67. So this is actually a really good paying load.
It is.
With, like, you know, all the deadhead and the run miles just being 1,000 some.
Yep.
It pays $2,840. So either they couldn't get somebody else to do it and they accepted our bid, or they're like, yeah, we're getting paid a good amount for this, so we can give you this amount.
Yep.
You know, so yeah, that's a great load.
All right, this next load picks up on the same day the previous load drops. So on Tuesday, it also drops on Tuesday. So we had 2 drops on Tuesday, which is funny, 2 different loads. So this one picks up in Deep Plains, I was going to say Arizona. That's not.
That'd be a long deadhead.
Arizona's on my mind. I want to go back, Cinnamon. We got to go to Arizona.
Well, I just talked about how hot it was. That's probably why you're like automatically thinking Arizona.
That might be. So this one picks up Des Plaines, Illinois, and it's dropping the same day in Rockford, Illinois. All right, Cinnamon, go ahead and tell them about this load.
So this is just 1 pallet weighing a whopping 270 pounds.
Heavy boy.
It is a temperature load, so the set point is 22 Celsius or 71 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, that's nice.
How many miles we have in this one?
This one was only, run miles was 65 miles, and the all miles is 106, so it's nice. Not much of a deadhead, not much of a load, so we can go relax somewhere after this. Go ahead and tell them what the pay was per mile, Cinnamon.
So this is one of those loads that you love to get because number one, it's a very short load. It delivers same day that it picks up, very low miles, and we can get it for a good price. So then it helps you with other loads later on in the week or loads that you had previous or whatever. So It's a great paying load, definitely one that we bid on. If you're looking at just the run miles, then it's $18.46 per mile.
Amazing. That's when you go to the truck stop at the diner and brag about it. Like,
and you can still brag about it because when you add the deadhead miles to it, it still is $11.32 per all miles.
Yeah,
so this
that's
load,
awesome.
Yeah, this very short, tiny, itty bitty 270 pound load, 1 pallet, paid $1,200.
People are like, what? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Which was awesome.
Yeah.
That was one of those. We like those kind.
I've done a couple different niches in trucking, and so far this is my favorite.
Yeah.
All right, this next load picks up the next day on Wednesday, all the way over in Rochester, Michigan, and it's going to, what is it? Horsham? Horsham, like a sham. Horsham, Pennsylvania. Drops the following day, Thursday. All right, Cinnamon, tell them about this load.
So this load has only 2 pallets, and the total weight is 350 pounds for those 2 pallets.
Feels like a light week, good paying week so far.
Yeah, it does. Not a lot of wear and tear on the truck at all.
Yeah.
So it is a temperature load. Set point is 5 degrees Celsius, and that is 41 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's a cooler temperatured load.
Yep.
What kind of miles are we looking at, Derek?
Okay, so there's a total of run miles of 618 miles, but if you add in the deadhead, you're looking at 999 miles.
Okay.
So it's going to change things for the pay per all miles, but go ahead, tell us the pay per run mile, then the pay per all mile, Cinnamon.
Okay, so if we're just looking at the run miles, the pay for those miles per mile is $3.22. If we're adding the deadhead, so we're covering all the miles that it took for this trip, then it brings it down to $1.99 per mile, which our goal is always, our personal goal is to always stay above $2, you know, so it's around there, a penny less, that's okay. So for this load, we got $1,990.22 for this load.
And it's dropping off in Pennsylvania, and that's, you know what, that's not too bad.
Not too bad.
Oh my God!
All right, it's been feeling like a light week so far this week. Let's see if that continues. On our 4th load this week, we're picking up the same day we dropped off, picking up in Warnersville, Pennsylvania, and it's going all the way over to Indianapolis, Indiana, dropping the next day on Friday. All right, Cinnamon, tell us about this load.
Okay, so this load, only 1 pallet, but it's one of our more heavy pallets. It's 3,512 pounds.
Heavy boy.
That is, for us.
Yeah.
It is
a
not,
reefer?
Nope, not a temperature load, it is a dry surface load.
It's a quiet ride. It'll be a little bit easier for the passenger to sleep.
Yes.
Those are nice. It's a nice little break every once in a while.
How many miles was it, Derek?
Oh, so this run miles is 592 miles. It's possible that one of us could have done this load, but there is a chance that we had to switch, do a driver swap, so that way both of us drove. But the run miles was 592, but if you add in the deadhead in there, it ends up being 846 total miles. All right, Cinnamon, what was the pay per run miles, and then what was the pay per all miles?
So I think for this one, it's when we probably took it off the load board. And the reason being is because when we looked at our whole week and how good, hey, the other loads were, we were able to put it together to still justify how much, you know, the end average would be for the week. So this one, the pay per mile, if we're just looking at the run miles, was $1.65 per mile. And then with the deadhead and everything, so just looking at this load is $1.15 per all miles, which sounds awful.
So we probably took this one straight off the load board.
We did, because it ends us in a good area at the very end, and then all together it makes sense. So the pay for this load was $974.57.
That hurt.
It did if you look at it individually, but like I said, we put it together with other loads too.
These things happen occasionally. It makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go for a 5th load this week. That doesn't happen too often. This picks up on Friday and it is scheduled to drop on Saturday. It hasn't been real easy for us to get over the weekend loads, but this time we're able to lock one down, picking it up in, what is that, Wyandotte, Michigan? And it's scheduled to go to Greer, South Carolina. All right, Cinnamon, tell us about this exciting load.
I will tell you about this load because I remember it, because we were heading home after our last load that we just dropped off in Indiana. And then they called us with this load. We decided to take it. We were home and we decided to take it. So we went up to Michigan and we were there, and it was a hazmat load.
Oh, crap.
And they didn't have it right
on the paperwork.
Because there's a specific way.
The shipper didn't have it right.
They didn't have their paperwork correct, and the thing is that we can't tell them how to fix it because then we're liable.
Our carrier didn't want us to say anything what was wrong with it.
We just have to tell them, you know, it's wrong. And so I gave an example of how they could do it, and then they have to make the decision how it's wrong. You can't point out like, just change this or do, you know. So they couldn't get it right and stuff, and so they ended up canceling the load while we were there. And so when we talked to dispatch, we're like, look, we were already home. And we drove up to Michigan. We're gonna drive back home. And so they were very nice, and they helped us out with the cancellation
cancellation
pay. So They actually, we
Do
did,
they call that run miles?
yeah, or for the deadhead.
For the cancellation pay, they have a certain name for that?
I can't think of it right now.
It doesn't matter. That's okay.
Yeah, but we ended up doing
190 miles.
Yeah.
Yep. There and back.
And so we have the pay per all miles is $4.25 because they ended up giving us $870 or $807.53.
So, and if that was a run, you take off the load board, that actually wouldn't be bad. So it was
going
good
to Michigan
pay.
and then back home,
And that's why we try to tell you the miles on what we did while it canceled, because you are on the clock, you are working, you're accumulating, you know, miles on the truck, which
paying
costs.
diesel for it.
Yeah, it's accumulating costs and
your time, which is the most valuable thing you have.
So we did get paid for it, so that is a plus. So we do add that into our average pay per mile as well. And to break this week down, because it's, you know, there's a lot of good loads, and then there is a heavy one, and then there's this low paying stuff that happened. All right, Simon, go ahead and break it down for us.
So
How was this week?
For this week, we made $7,812.32 to the truck, gross to the truck.
Might possibly be the most we've made so far at Expediting in a week.
At this point. And then, yes. And so
but it's good to have goals, and we can, other people do better.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, see if we do.
So the total amount of miles that we did for this week is 3,204 miles.
Yep.
And so averaging all together, the average pay per all the miles that we traveled this week is $2.44.
Great week.
So even though we
all
had that,
week.
you know, $1.15 for all miles on that one load,
yep.
like it still averaged above our $2 per mile goal.
Yep.
And
yep, we're out there
pretty good.
trying to make this happen. We're not the best team, but we're not the worst team. But we really do hope you guys enjoy these videos, because we're hoping that we can help that person out there, that team out there that's considering getting into expediting. And this was our experience for this week as a FedEx Custom Critical independent contractor. So I can't say you'll have the same experience if you drive for that carrier. It might be better if you go with Hyfield and have a mentorship. But to give them how we've done so far in our career, up to week 10, Cinnamon, and if you want to know how we do in week 11, tune in next week. But Cinnamon, let them know what our pay average is per mile, all miles, and all that other stuff.
okay, here's all the info. So the pay per all the miles up to this point is $2.18 per mile. The total amount of miles that we did up to this point is 25,688 miles. The number of pallets or pieces that we've moved is 74 pallets or pieses. The total amount of freight weight is 34,714 pounds. We've done 31 loads up to this point, and our average weight per load is 1,119 pounds. The average mile per week that we've driven has been 2,568 miles. The average pay per week that we've brought in gross to the truck has been $5,602.87.
Yep.
And so the amount that we've grossed to the truck before any expenses or anything, or paying the drivers, you know, all that, has been $56,028.66.
Yeah. I hope that was helpful for somebody out there. We don't like to break down what we get paid, because it could be different for different teams if you're with different fleets, fleet owners or whatever. But we did like the 40-60 split, and after fuel surcharge, you can take what we gross to the truck and times that by 0.38, and that's roughly what we got after fuel surcharge. The fleet owners usually keep that. So if you want to know how we're doing, that's how you do it. But we appreciate you guys riding along on our journey through expediting, seeing how we're doing. And if you're getting started or thinking about, well, let us know in the comments. You know, we like to hear from you guys and your stories and your journey. We're all in this together. Life is a journey. You just depends on you what this chapter is going to be about. Write your own story. God bless you guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye. On to the next one.
She almost forgot, pretty sure. All right, see you guys.